Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon here from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am live with my regular Wednesday morning Facebook Live. This week, I'm actually going to be making the November paper pumpkin filled with joy, and then 3 alternative cards to go with the stamp set in this kit. So I did get this, I think, on the weekend, but it's been a crazy week and crazy weekend, report card season and family and stuff. So here I am on Wednesday morning with this paper pumpkin. I am doing things a little bit differently. I don't normally offer like a PDF with my paper pumpkin alternatives. I normally just create them, show them to you, and call it a day. But this week, because it's Christmas and it's such a fun stamp set, I'm actually offering a free PDF of the alternative cards that I create for anybody who places a $65 order with me. So now that will also get you my Crafty Collaborations tutorial bundle as well, which is, I think, 36 different projects using product from our Stampin' Up! Catalogs. So yeah, that's super exciting. I see that there's a few of you on, so if you want to say hi, let me know who's watching. I'd love to know. Love chatting with you guys as I craft, and I'm going to switch over to my desktop only so that you guys can really see what's in this kit. I actually haven't played with any of it yet. I've just seen what some other people have been doing. All right, so this is the gorgeous box. I love it. It's super retro. And inside our kit, I know that there's going to be stockings. So let's see, we have got a Poppy Parade ink pad. So I'm actually going to set that to the side and grab my nice big Poppy Parade ink. And then we have an adorable little stamp set in here. So it's got like the retro ornaments and snowflake, some little star sprinkles, some swirls and stripes and dots and everything. And then our sentiments that say, filled with joy, sending lots of cheer, Merry Christmas to and from Santa, and Holly Jolly. So some great little sentiments in here. Oh, hi, Darlene. So looking forward to that. Then we have a bag filled with our stockings, and I said before little stockings, but these actually aren't very little. Like if you look at my hand, they're bigger than my hand. So we're going to be able to put a lot of good things in there. It's kind of exciting. And then we have got our instructions and our tags and everything to put on our stocking. So I'm just going to move the paper pumpkin box out of the way and that tissue out of the way. And oh no, I don't have scissors on my desk. Just give me a second. We had a power outage last night, so we had a lantern going up in the kitchen, and I was doing some crafting up there. So all my stuff's on my other table, all in a bin, because I'd carried it up to where we had our light set up. So luckily the power came back on around midnight last night, so everybody had working alarm clocks for this morning for work and everything. All right, we'll put those to the side. So we have some beautiful tags here in pink and Pool Party. I think this is pretty, no, maybe not pretty in pink. This is probably Bubble Bath and Pool Party. So I'm just popping these right out of the cases, like right off the bat. It's just, I find it quicker and easier to do them all in once when they're a clean cut like that. So we've got those 2 tags. And then we have a sheet of all of these beautiful ornaments with their gold toppers. I'm not going to pop all those out right now because that's not quite as easy. So I'm going to set that to the side. And, oh, good. So we always have, I should have pulled this out to show you guys the stamp set. It's much easier. We always have this little image in the paper pumpkins. Oh, I've got it upside down. No, I don't. Okay. This image in the paper pumpkins so that when you're finished with it, you can keep this with your stamp set. And then if you come across a random stamp set in your, or a stamp in your office or wherever you craft, you have a chance of figuring out where it came from. So I love to keep these together in a little baggie once I'm done with my paper pumpkins. So that is an essential little piece. All right. And then we have our little image here of what our stockings will look like when we're done. And we have our instruction sheets. So I love that they're colored instructions. They show you where to put the adhesive, what kind of adhesive, exactly where to stamp. Like they show it all. So the only thing that didn't come in my kit was a block, because I am a regular Paper Pumpkin subscriber. I got a block with my first kit, as you would if you had never ordered Paper Pumpkin before. And then you can just keep that and reuse it time after time. So let's get started. I am going to make a couple of these tags exactly as they say, and show you how to attach them to your stockings, and then I'm going to get busy on those alternatives. So let's grab our Poppy Parade ink, and I'm going to grab a block. So this block is not one of our Paper Pumpkin ones, but it's the same size as one of our Paper Pumpkin ones. And then let's see, holly jolly, filled with joy. So we can basically pick and choose whatever sentiment we want. And so I like the filled with joy for the stocking especially. So I'm going to grab that, pop that onto my block. Now, because this is a bigger block than my sentiment, I am putting it up in the top right-hand corner so that when I go to ink it, it's in my top left, and I don't have to put too much of this over top of the ink, and then I won't get ink on my block that could then get where I don't want it. Oh, good morning, Kim. Glad you could join. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to stamp it down at the bottom of my tag. Now, I know it's the bottom of my tag because at the top, there's this little hole to put our piece through to attach it to our stocking. All right, so there we go. So I've stamped my filled with joy onto my tag, and then I'm going to grab those little stars. And same thing, when I put them on my block, actually I'm going to grab a smaller block, but I'm going to put them in the top left-hand corner still, even though I'm using a smaller block. And now they've got us just stamping this a little bit up in that corner and a little bit down in this space. There we go. So super fun to have those little, I love those retro stars. Like it's a look I really, really enjoy. I'm going to close up my ink so I don't get ink on stuff. And then, and then we're supposed to do some stamping on our actual ornaments. I thought they were like done and because they're so pretty, but we actually have some stamping to do right on those. So let's take that off my block, and let's see, what do they recommend? They're recommending the loop-de-loops. Okay, so let's grab the loop-de-loops. There we go. So I put my loop-de-loops on right at the top, and I guess I need an ornament. So the one I've been looking at is this one. I love the shape of that. All right, here we go. And then we've got our ornament topper as well. Can't forget that. And they want us to do 2 strings of loop-de-loops. So I'm going to end up with, I don't want to have to clean my desk. I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap paper to put behind this because I'm going to end up with ink on my desk otherwise, because this goes across and off my ornament. So let's ink that up. They've got us putting 1 set of loop-de-loops down here and 1 set of loop-de-loops up here. All right. Oh my gosh, that is super cute. So it just kind of finishes up the ornament. Super, super sweet. Okay. So close that up. Now, oh, did I get adhesive? Oh, I did get adhesives. I'm like, how am I supposed to put this together? All right. They gave me adhesives over here. I am going to grab a mini glue dot, I'm going to pop this little piece out. There we go. So they want me putting a little mini glue dot on the back here. So you can use your fingernails to peel that off and attach it, or you can use a take your pick tool or a toothpick or whatever you've got on hand if you can't get in there. All right. And then we're going to take that and attach it to the top of our ornament, just like that. All right. They are like old style retro ornaments. I love them. My Christmas tree is still decorated primarily with kind of retro handmade, like old style ornaments. All right. So now I'm going to flip this over, and they've got us using 4 mini dimensionals to pop this onto our tag. So they want one, not on your glass mat. They want one up at the top, one on each side, and one down at the bottom. And that's going to kind of hold it all in place. So I'm going to peel these off. Just like that. And then this gets attached kind of on a diagonal. Oh, how clever. With the top of the ornament going over the top, like the opening for the tag. All right, so just like that. And now your tag is complete, but we do have to attach it to our stocking. And so they have the old little safety pins here too. So you give it a squeeze to open it up. And then you put that through your little hole. Now, let's see, we got to grab a stocking. All right, so we grab our stocking. We want to fold the top over. Okay, so just like that, we've got our top folded over. And then you're going to take your safety pin here and poke it through your top of your stocking, clip it back in, and voila, we have our stocking with our tag done. Now, these stockings are fabric, so you can stamp right on the stockings as well. If you do, I recommend putting a paper inside your stocking so that your ink doesn't go through to the other side. And so you can do that and kind of add some decorations, like add some stars on here, or if you've got an alphabet stamp, stamp somebody's name on here. And what I wanted to try today, and we'll see, it might work, it might not work, was to actually do some embossing on here. Because when I was a kid, I had a stocking that my aunt made me, and it had my name on it in gold glitter. Now, I'm pretty sure she put my name on it like by hand with like glitter glue and whatever. But I'm going to try embossing. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not really too sure if this is going to work or not. But we're going to give it a try. So what I'm going to do first is actually fold a piece of paper and put it, oops, sorry, that was a bit loud. And I'm going to put it inside my stocking because I don't want my ink to go through. All right. Oh, come on. I'm going to take this off the screen. It's just a little tricky to weave this in because, of course, I'm trying to go around a corner as well because I want to stamp down near the bottom. I might not actually be able to go around the corner. Okay, that's fine. We'll do it up a little bit higher. All right, so I've got that in there. Now, oh, my embossing stuff's over here too. I was not embossing last night. We had no heat or no power, but I was embossing the other day with some friends, and so it's all packed up as well. All right, so we're going to give this a shot. We'll see what happens. If we wreck a stocking, it's my stocking, not yours. You can 100% stamp on these, though. So I'm going to take my embossing buddy, and I am going to do that because I only want this sticking to what I stamp. All right. So my embossing buddy, grab my Versamark, and I think we're going to try just something simple. We're just going to add a few of the snowflakes to this. So I'm going to grab my snowflake, my Versamark, and I'm going to ink that up. And I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3 little snowflakes. You can't even see them. And this is where we cross our fingers and hope for the best. All right, let's get a piece of paper under here so I have somewhere to tap my gold off onto. Let's see if I can remember where I put these snowflakes. All right, so we've got some gold on there. We'll see how this goes. And moment of truth. Okay. So that paper underneath is also giving me some firmness to this to be able to tap off the excess ink or excess powder, not ink. All right, now not as much stuck as I wanted in that one spot. So I'm going to go back in. I think I just tapped it off too much. All right, beautiful. Now I'm going to put this, oh, don't do that. I'm going to put this back into my jar before I heat this. Okay. So I wouldn't do anything too intricate if you're embossing. It looks like the fibers on this are quite thick, and so it's grabbing the embossing powder quite well. But this is a forgiving enough design that I think it's going to work. So now let's see what happens when I heat this up. All right, so there we go. It did not get as bright and gold as I would have wanted, and I can see that I kind of started to burn the fabric a little bit, but it's kind of cute still. And so I don't know if I'd emboss, but definitely coming in and stamping in some color would work. So I'm actually going to add in a few more snowflakes on here in color as well. And that way you'll get a little sense of what that's going to look like as well. So now I'm going to come in and add in a little red one there. I'm going to move my paper before I do that. Do a little red one there. Maybe a little red one there. And a red one there. All right. So I can come in here now and add in even a few more snowflakes just to finish it off. I might do like maybe 2 more gold and 1 more up there just to kind of fill in the space. And that is exactly what it's going to look like if we stamp on here with ink or we give that embossing a little go. So yeah, I'm not sure that the embossing worked, but definitely the stamping, super duper cute. And then of course you could do the other side as well, so you don't just have one decorated side. So that is how we put together these little stockings. And then you can actually put quite a bit in here, I feel like. They're pretty nice in size. So that is basically it for this kit. You just get to repeat this, what is it? I think 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, there are 12 ornaments. So let's see how many stockings we get. I don't know if it tells us on the packaging or if I'm going to have to count how many are in here. So we get 8 stockings, but you get 12 ornaments. So that means you're going to have some extra ornaments to do some extra kits. Now you don't have extra of your little background tags. You get just 8 of those. So you will have the ornaments though to work on other projects with. All right, so with that shown, you're going to repeat the same thing on the pink, change up your sentiments, change up the pattern that you put across your ornaments, because you get 3 different patterns to put on the ornaments, and just have some fun with that. So I'm going to put all of those things over in my paper pumpkin box so I can finish up my stockings later. I know that 6 of them are going to the kids, and then I might do one up for each of my teaching partners. So, well, my teaching partner and my EA. And that will be my 8 stockings gifted out to people this year. So that will be nice. All right. So now for my alternative cards. I am super duper excited about these. Now I am doing something a bit different. I am not going to use the Poppy Parade ink. I know that I normally try to stick to the ink that comes in the kit. However, I really, really, really wanted to use the Berry Burst Old Olive and Shimmery White, I think, what is it, Glimmer paper? Yeah, Glimmer specialty paper. I really, really, really wanted to use this with those retro ornaments. I don't know, the second I saw those retro ornaments, I saw glitter, and I just needed to stick with it. So my alternatives today are focusing entirely on the stamp set, not on any other elements in this kit. Because I wasn't really sure like if we'd have extra bits. I didn't even know if we'd have extra ornaments or anything, because I kind of designed these without seeing the kit. So we'll see if they work. And yeah, it'll be a little bit of an adventure. So to start our stamping adventure, the first thing that we're going to do is grab a strip of paper, and I'm going to make my own designer series paper. Now to do this, again, I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper to put behind this, because I'm using those patterned pieces that we are meant to use on our ornaments, and I'm using them to create a pattern and decorate my strip of cardstock. So I'm actually going to take this banner off the bottom, hide that, and now you guys hopefully will have a bit better of a view. And here we go. So the colors that I have chosen match up with that glimmer paper. I'm going to be using Berry Burst, Granny Apple Green, and then obviously stamping in white would be a little bit silly. So I'm going to use Balmy Blue. So those are the 3 colors that I'm going to focus on as I create this pattern. So I'm going to use my lightest color for my biggest pattern, and then we'll work our way down that way. So I'm going to start with my my curlies, my loop-de-loops here, and I'm going to stamp my loop-de-loops. Now, if you're really particular, you could go ahead and like have all 3 on a block and continue to like stamp one, stamp the next, and kind of like alternate. I am just kind of eyeballing it, like there'd be the next one, there'd be the next one, that's going to be that. And I am just doing that. It's not going to be perfect, and I'm okay with that. All right, so I've done all my curly cues in Balmy Blue. Now, the next largest pattern we have here, actually, I don't know if I want those in green, though. Yeah, well, we're going to do it anyways, because I'm going to stick with what I know usually works, which is the bolder the color, the smaller you want it, and the lighter the color, the bigger you want it, so that you create some balance on your card. So I'm not going to deviate from that, even though I don't really want green stars. I am going to take my little one here. It's got dots and stars on it. And I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green. And, oh, let's go back. I'm not on my comments page. Okay, there we go. I'm going to come in here now with these stars and dots. And I'm going to stamp those right above each of my blue curlicues. There we go. There we go. It's like a little wrapping paper design here. There we go. All right, so I've got all my little green curlicues in there now. And I'm going to clean that up and swap it out for, there's just like some dotted lines, like little dashes. And we're going to do those in Berry Burst because it is a burst of color. All right, so put those back in, grab those little dotted lines, pop those on the block, grab our Berry Burst. Now, you could do this with Poppy Parade for sure, instead of the Berry Burst. I quite love, be very gentle with this one when you put it down. Otherwise, you get a double image like I just did. I quite love non-traditional colors. So to me, Berry Burst on a Christmas card is like heaven. I love it. All right, and I'm not going to do any more. We've run out of space. So yeah, be very careful. That first one that I did, I got a little thick and swishy because I pressed too hard. All right, let's clean that up before I get Berry Burst on things I don't want it on. All right, now all the cardstock I am using on today's cards is either basic white or balmy blue. I had originally thought to design some cards for you with Berry Burst and Granny Apple Green. However, both of those cardstocks are currently unavailable, and I thought that would be horrible if you didn't have those colors and then couldn't get them. So we're not doing that. We're going to do all balmy blue, and I think it's going to work out beautifully. So we're going to take this piece that we just created, and we're going to put it onto a border of balmy blue. So now we've kind of created this fun little DSP, and we're going to glue that down. So use whatever adhesive you enjoy. I love my liquid glue. Oh, except this one might be almost empty. All right, time to go grab a new bottle. That one is done. All right, luckily I hoard it, so I have a lot. All right, there we go. Could never be without my liquid glue. There we go. All right, so I like to use the wider end. I get a little ball of glue, and then I just drag it along. And so we're going to pop this onto our balmy blue background. There we go. Now, if you wanted to get really creative, you could come in here and do a second, like dotted line or something, and do it all embossed and everything. Add some glitter to this piece, but I'm going to add glitter to our card in just a slightly different way. So next I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to glue it to our card base, which is just a thick basic white card base, nothing fancy. And I'm not gluing it all the way over to the edge. I am leaving a little border there. Now, this isn't quite equal. I can see that my pieces that I just glued on are a little bit taller than my actual card. So that's no problem. We just go over to the trimmer and we trim off that excess. So let's go over here. And on the other side as well. Now, there we go. Oops. Nope, that one didn't quite work. There There we go. Beautiful. All right. Sometimes when you're trimming slivers, it's a little bit tricky. Okay, so there we go. Oh, Kim, I've got you, eh? Turning you into a glue person. So we've created that fun little DSP for the side. I wanted to use that glimmer paper, so I used my stylish shaped circles to cut a very glimmery circle. And then I used my stylish shapes to cut myself a little label, and we're going to stamp our sentiment on there. Now, where did my sentiments go? So I could do sending lots of cheer, Merry Christmas, filled with joy, holly jolly. Now, I did have a little drawing of my original plans. What did I think would go there? That is the one that I envisioned as being holly jolly. All right. So let's grab our holly jolly sentiment, throw it onto a block. Oops, come on. There we go. And we're going to stamp it. And I think for this one, I think I'm going to go with my Berry Burst. So if you were doing this card in using the ink from your kit, you would do this with the Poppy Parade, which would, of course, totally work because we're just using the white glitter from the glimmer paper. And so, you know, no conflict there. The Poppy Parade with the balmy blue and Granny Apple would be beautiful. And then that sentiment's going to pop out just so nicely. And so we're going to attach these to our card front. I'm actually going to attach them just a little bit over so that they just cover that up a bit. And I think I'm going to get that, there it is. I haven't cleaned it though. I'm going to get those retro stars and just give a little retro background here. And for that though, I think I'm going to do it in balmy blue, just to keep it a little more subtle in the background. And I am going to keep it so it's kind of going to be coming out of the side there and just in down here a little bit. All right, so just a tiny little glimmer around our sentiment. Now, to attach these to each other, I am going to use dimensionals for both. I'm going to use dimensionals to attach my words to the circle and then the circle to my card front. So you do have very few dimensionals in your kit. They barely give you enough. They do give you enough though, don't worry. So I'm going to use my own dimensionals from my craft stash. And there we go. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this to pop it up on my card. And actually, I'm going to do 4 on here. I don't want it wobbling. All right. And so when I put this down, I'm going to put it down here so that I've got it overlapping onto my DSP that I made and kind of covering up those stars around it. So that is my first alternative card. So just quick and simple and really fun to make. And I love the non-traditional colors. So that is our first card. All right. Our second card is another great one. I've got a piece of the Granny Apple glimmer paper here that I cut using the largest Stylish Shapes banner. Now, when you do this, you'll notice it just peeks out the ends, which is fine, but I think I want mine peeking out just a tiny bit more. So I'm actually going to take this, grab my paper snips, and I'm going to cut it in half. That's going to allow me to attach it behind my sentiment label in a way that I can make the ends stick out as far as I want. So I'm going to be able to stick them on here and then put this over top and have them stick out just a little bit more without having to kind of waste any more glimmer paper or anything. All right, so that's kind of a little trick. Now, before we do that, we're going to go ahead and stamp on here. I am going to grab, oh, where did they go? There they are. I'm going to grab the actual ornaments. So we're going to use the actual ornaments for this one. I'm going to take those off of there, put the ornaments on here. Now, you've got a few choices. We could grab markers and color these. We could decide to keep this just like one color and stamp it that way. What I was thinking is I would give this a try with the markers and see how we do with that. Now the alternative, although it's a little bit trickier, is you could come in here with ink pads and ink up each ornament and then just do the strings with markers. So it's, it's up to you how you want to do that. So I'll show you how tricky it would be though. So actually might not be too bad. We're going to come in here with our balmy blue and ink up that one ornament. I am inking the ornaments before I do the strings. Okay, and then I'm going to come in here with my granny apple green and do this ornament. It's actually not that bad. Huh. Okay, maybe I won't use my markers at all. Normally I would use my markers for something like this, but that's actually inking up quite nicely. We'll see how it stamps. Then I'm going to come over here with my berry burst. So I'm using the corner and coming in kind of on the side so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, I think I just got some berry burst onto my balmy blue ornament. So I'm going to grab my chamois actually for my glass mat and come in and wipe that off. And then I'll come back with my balmy blue and re-ink that ornament. All right. There we go. Probably should do that later one last, no matter what. All right, and then before I stamp this, I am going to grab my black journaling marker, take my wider tip, and I am going to color my strings. Now, you might want colored strings, I don't know, but I'm going to do mine black and see how that goes. So now, before I stamp this image, I am just going to blow on it, or not blow on it, but like breathe on it. And then I'm going to stamp it over here on the left-hand side of my cardstock. So we'll see how this goes. It's okay. It's not fantastic. So you can see this ornament kind of didn't turn out. The other ones are pretty okay. All right, so let's see what this would look like if I just stuck to green. So let's clean this up and we'll see one with just green. So it was okay. Maybe if you have a Stamparatus and you did one color at a time, it would be a bit better. But that's not my style of stamping at all. I am a pretty lazy stamper. So let's come on in here. We're going to grab the green and stamp that all in green and see how this goes. I like that image a lot better. Okay, so we've got our image stamped in green. And then we're going to do our sentiment off to the side here. And I think we're going to do the filled, maybe filled with joy. Merry Christmas. Maybe Merry Christmas. Let's do Merry Christmas. Why not? So let's see. Grab this Holly Jolly off of here. Put it back on here. Put our Merry Christmas on our block. Beautiful. And I think we're going to do Merry Christmas in our berry burst again. I really like having our sentiment pop off the page, and the berry burst definitely does that. There we go. Merry Christmas. Just like that. Now we do have this little space to fill, so I am going to grab my balmy blue. We're going to use all three colors. I'm going to grab my balmy blue and that little snowflake, maybe? No. Yeah, maybe actually. Yeah, let's do our snowflake. All right, we're going to do just maybe 3 little balmy blue snowflakes here. And actually, maybe one down there. Okay, so we've just added a few little snowflakes on there. Now, before we put our whole card together, we actually need to decorate our background. And so in this space as well, we could come in and put some bling on here and jazz this up as well. But before we attach this to our card, I actually want to create a patterned paper on our white that's going to go on the background. So I'm going to clean up these ornaments and put them aside because I'd like to use a smaller block for this little star. I am going to use this little star and I'm going to create a full background of snowflakes. So I'm going to move that over there. That's kind of annoying me. All right. I am going to start up here and just do a nice pattern of blue snowflakes everywhere. And I'm going to cover the whole sheet with my blue snowflakes. So blue is my lightest color that I'm using, so I'm going to use it the most. So I've got blue all over there. Now I'm going to come in with my green and my berry burst, except that to keep them light, I am actually going to stamp them off as we go. So let's grab that scrap paper again that I have. There it is. And we're going to stamp off as we go. So there's my green and just double check. Oh yeah, that'll be nice still. In fact, no, just twice. Okay, so stamp off and stamp a green one. Stamp off and stamp a green one. And now I'm not doing, not doing as many of these as I did of the blue because I also want to fit in my berry burst ones. All right, let's do maybe one more over there. Okay, so now I'm going to fit in some berry burst. And again, I am going to stamp off my berry burst. The Granny Apple Green and the berry burst are very strong colors. So we ink that and then off. There we go. You can really keep this light and fun by stamping that off. Sometimes I forget if I stamped off or not. I always default by just re-inking and stamping off then if I've forgotten. I don't want to accidentally get a bright pink snowflake on here. Kind of ruin the look. All right, let's see, maybe one more right there. All right, now I have a few gaps. I'm going to come back and fill those in with balmy blue. I really don't want to overpower it with the other colors. I want to keep the blue strong on this card. All right, so we'll clean off our berry burst, grab our balmy blue, and fill in the gaps. And so mostly my gaps are along my edges here. Got a few gaps in here. Oops, hopefully that gets covered. All right, there we go. There we go. Okay, that's looking good. Maybe, yeah, one more. Put that right there. Okay. So now we have this gorgeous pattern. You can recreate this on your envelope as well. It'd be so pretty. So now that we have that done, let's start gluing these layers together so that we can finish up our card. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to glue this down to my balmy blue card base. There we go. Then I'm actually, where do I want this? I want this kind of right. Oh, see, now I can see where I'm missing a snowflake, and I'm going to make it a green one. So now that I've kind of decided where I want the sentiment. All right. Where'd that scrap go again? Stamp it off, stamp it on. So I had one there, but it was just up far enough. It was getting covered and not part of my card. So there we go. So with that decided, I'm going to come in here and glue down my glitter pieces on the sides like that. So let's pull that out and pick up one at a time and glue these down. Now, if you're not sure that you're going to be able to get these straight across here, I would put one down and then you can like grab, oh, gem stuck to that. Grab a ruler and you can use your grid paper. So I've got my ruler lined up on either side of my grid paper. I've got the base of my card lined up as well on my grid paper. And now I can see where this one needs to go to be equal. All right, there we go. So you can see there ends up being like a little gap in there. That's just how I made this. How did it go with my new huge pot? Oh my gosh, Kim, it was so good. It was so nice to be able to cook in one big pot. It was awesome. All right, now I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking I don't want to put this down with white on white. I want to create a border for this piece. So I'm going to grab a scrap of balmy blue if I have one. There we go, I do. And I'm going to, oh, that's perfect. I'm just going to go trim this so that it's a little bit shorter because it's quite long right now. All right. There we go. Now let's make sure that this fits, that fits, and that fits. Excellent. Actually, I think I want that border just a tiny bit smaller. All right. All right. So I'm going to glue this onto here so that I then have like a little blue border on this and it just pops it up a bit more. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now, if I really wanted these ornaments in different colors, which I almost feel like I do, my other alternative is to stamp the whole image and then fussy cut them and pop them up. And I actually think that's exactly what I'm going to do. This card's going to take me a little bit longer than I had originally planned, but that's, you know, I want to end up with something I'm happy with. And being that I'm creating on the fly, sometimes you just don't know. So I'm going to do that. So I could have stamped this entirely in black, so I'd have my strings in black, but I actually am kind of glad they're not. I think the black would draw the eye, and I don't actually want that. So let's go like that. All right. So we might come back to that one, and actually, no, we're not going to come back to it. We're going to do it right now. I am convinced I know what I want. All right. So I'm going to grab just a scrap of paper here. And I'm going to get my ornaments. Oh, I need to clean a block. All right, let's move that. Grab my ornaments. And I think the quickest, easiest way to do this is to stamp them fully in the colors that I want. So I'm going to ink this up in blue and snap those ornaments on there. And then I'm going to redo it and stamp them in Berry Burst. There we go. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of look at them and decide which ornaments I like the best in each color. I think I like the blue one the best in that lower piece. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just cutting out the ornament. Okay, so I'm going to grab this blue ornament and give it a little trim. I'm giving it just the slightest white border. There we go. And we're going to pop that right on there. And we're going to glue that there. And then I think I like this one. I'm going to do this. I just want it a little further away from our pink sentiment. I don't want the pink ornament right beside our pink sentiment. So I'm going to come in here and do that. So now I still have other ornaments here, so I can cut them out and do this same process on another card and use up all of my ornaments from each one. And I can just glue that one straight down there. And then if I wanted to, if I didn't like how it looked having two ornaments glued and one not, I could come back in and do the green one as well so that it also looked popped, but I actually think it looks just fine the way it is. So to glue these down, I'm going to take the thin tip of my glue. I almost never use this end, but I'm going to take the thin tip and I'm going to do the tiniest little dots of glue on the back. I'm not even doing like a full line of glue, just the tiniest little dots, because as I put this down, it will kind of smush them. All right, so that one's in place. And same thing for my next ornament, just 4 tiny, tiny little dots. And pop that down on top. All right, I like that look a lot better. There we go. So that is our second alternative card created. We've got all that glimmer and shimmer on there. I love it. Yeah, so that is our second card. I don't even know where, oh, there's my first one. Awesome. And then our last card is just so much fun as well. All right, so what we've got here is an embossed layer. Oh, my lighting is not fabulous today. Everything got moved around last night. With our power outage, I ended up moving things, trying to find them in the dark to turn them off because they were on when the power went out. So I've got this embossed with our Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder. And that is just going to get glued straight down to our card base. So let's do that. All right. Now, this is really the only card I would not recommend doing in Poppy Parade because the banner that I'm using is the Berry Burst Glimmer, and the Poppy Parade and the Berry Burst together, I'm not so sure about. All right, so now we are going to create like a little DSP on here. Now, we've got lots and lots of choices. We've got snowflakes already going on. I'm going to be using the ornaments as a focal point. So I'm thinking we're going to go and use, no, I'm not going to use the stripes because that's too wide. I can't do, so the stripes don't fit all the way across that. Otherwise I might have done like diagonal stripes and fit that across. I think instead, no, those are going to be too small. I'm going to go snowflakes again. Is a snowflake card. Let's keep the snowflakes. This time though, I am going to do all of the snowflakes in one color. And I think that color is going to be balmy blue. So we're going to do balmy blue snowflakes. Oh, whoa, that is not balmy blue. That had green on it, darn it. Where's my cleaner? There it is. I used this in green and forgot to clean it, and I've got green on my ink pad, which I can clean up quite easily, but got a weird colored snowflake there. So let's flip this over and work just with blue. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna do this all over this piece of paper. And then I think we're even going to get out a blending brush and add some blue to this so that it's not just a white on white kind of piece. All right, so we're going to do these blue snowflakes first though. All right, beautiful. So I've got blue snowflakes stamped all over there. Don't put that away. I just said we were using it. Oh my. I'm going to grab a blending brush. And I am going to put some blue all over this. So where'd that scrap paper go again? All right. And so you can see it's not taking away from those blue snowflakes. It's just adding the blue into the background. And it's quite pretty. Okay. There we go. I suppose I could have done this with the berry burst too, and then I would have had a nice pink layer, but I kind of like keeping it with the blue, and then we'll just have a pop of pink. All right, so I've got my DSP created there to go onto my card. This layer can actually get glued down, and then I'm going to stamp a sentiment, stamp an image. So I think, I was gonna, I'm not sure what colors to do these in now. Let's try the ornaments in blue and see what that looks like. So let's make sure these are clean. All right, so I've got that. I'm gonna grab my balmy blue. And I'm gonna stamp my balmy blue. I think this might need to be re-inked. It's really not coming out as dark as I would have liked. All right, that's actually not bad. Okay, I've got balmy blue ornaments that just don't seem to pop. So let's make everything on here pop. Let's do everything in our berry burst. So we'll flip those over, and we're not going to have any green on this card. We're going to do some berry burst ornaments with a berry burst sentiment. Where did it go? I wanted the filled with joy for this one. And so filled with joy. And I'm going to stamp it right here on this little circle. Filled with joy. So this little circle is from the Stylish Shapes as well. And so I've got that. I've got my snowflakes. I've got my sentiment. I've got that. So we're going to glue these together, glue that there, and we're going to put this underneath. So I'm going to trim the end first. There's a few ways to flag an end. You can just use your paper snips. You can, this is actually what I'm going to do, is you can actually feed this through. And because it's thinner, it creates the stitched edge, but it doesn't cut the edges at all. So I'm actually going to grab my mini machine and run this through and flag my end like that. So let's move that out of the way, grab that, grab my plates. Now, I was talking with somebody the other day, and they were telling me they're having problems with their mini, and I realized it's been a while since I mentioned that I don't use my base plate 1 with my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I actually use base plate 3, which they say is for embossing folders. I use plate 3, then my plate 2, which is your clear plate. Well, mine's so cut up, it's not very clear looking anymore. Now, when I put this in, I am going to line this up so that the edges are straight inside the die, and my V is fully over the end. Okay, now stay straight. All right, sometimes it wants to wiggle on you. You can come back in and wiggle it back, or you could use washi tape to hold it in place, whatever you prefer. All right, so just like that. And then I go ahead and roll this through, but just until it actually does that cut, and then I roll it back out. And now I have a nice V cut in the bottom of my my banner. All right, and so again, that was from the Stylish Shapes. So I've used Stylish Shapes for all of our additional pieces on these cards. Okay, so I'm going to take this banner, and it's the first thing I'm going to put down, and I'm going to just actually glue it right here. So just gluing that on. Okay, so here we go, and all the way down. So just like that. All right. I love this glimmer paper. Okay, with that glued down, then I'm going to come in and glue this down. Well, I guess I could have put this down first and then that over top. Oh, well. C'est la vie. It's all about how you like the layers. So I'm going to put that like that. I'm going to take our little ornaments here, and I'm going to glue, actually, maybe I dimensional those. Yeah, I think I'm going to add these with dimensionals. Oh, actually, I've got a bunch of glue on here. I'm going to glue them. I need to clean up my glue stick before I can put it away. So, all right, clean that up. So I'm going to glue these down so that they're overlapping, just like that. Okay. Kind of sticking up on that side. That's okay. I might want to go put a dimensional under. We'll see. And then my sentiment, I am going to pop up with a dimensional. I'm just going to put one on the back of it, if I can find them. There they are. So one right on the back, just like that. And I am going to kind of use it. It's covering up kind of where all 3 of the different papers meet. Okay, now this guy, I feel like he's kind of getting lost. Maybe he needs a border. So I think I'm going to give him a little blue border. So I'm going to peel him off and put him back down. Grab him a little blue border first. All right. So let's peel him up. Oops, without peeling up our other stuff. Okay. So sometimes, oh, no, I'm going to get it. Sometimes I need to use dental floss to get in there and peel up a layer if I've glued it down with liquid glue. But that one I got off, and the stuff I've wrecked I'm not too worried about because we're going to cover it up anyways. And when you guys get the PDF, which I'll be sending out to people who make a $65 purchase, you're going to have all the proper instructions because these cards will be designed and I'll be able to write up proper instructions. There we go. So we're going to take that, and I am going to use dimensionals. I don't like how it was hanging off the edge. Okay, so dimensionals. There we go. And I'm going to tuck this underneath. Oh yeah, that's much better. There we go. And there we have our third card all finished. So I'm going to bring back, using dental floss. So I don't actually have any right here. I usually run to the bathroom and grab it. You just tuck the dental floss under the corner and then you floss it apart. So it works brilliantly. So that is our third card. So where did I put the other ones? Oh, they're there. So this is our set of alternatives using that awesome stamp set in this month's paper pumpkin. So I absolutely love this stamp set. Now I had one last thing that I wanted to share with you before we're actually done today. So I'm going to move these up out of the way, which is that there's also the additions kit for the October, November, December paper pumpkins. And so I wanted to use the kit this time to actually create something. So I'm just going to show it to you. It has a very big tag, a lovely piece of fern, and the word Mary all done up in script. And so my last thing that we're going to do is I've pre-cut, sorry, I got to move these just a little bit more. I've pre-cut one of those gorgeous giant tags, and I have got a piece here of the Berry Burst glimmer paper. What I also have here is a piece of adhesive sheet. Now this adhesive sheet actually comes in a big like 12 by 6 package. You get multiple sheets. I think you get 12 sheets in here. So it's amazing. But what this does is it turns anything into like sticky paper. So I just want to make sure that this is slightly smaller than the paper I'm attaching it to. So I'm going to just trim up this one end a bit. It's very sticky stuff, so I don't like it to even get too close to the edges. I'm going to flip my glimmer paper over. I'm going to find the crease in my paper here. So now I've cut this paper already into like a smaller piece instead of using a big 12 by 6 sheet. And so now I'm going to go ahead. I took off one of the backings. Perfect. That's going to be excellent. And then I've stuck it down. And now I'm going to peel off the other backings. This is just making it so that I do not have to touch the stickiness on the back here because it is so sticky. All right. So now I have a piece of adhesive sheet on the back of my glimmer paper. I'm going to grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine again, and that gorgeous Mary die that came in our additions stamp set or die set. There we go. And I am going to roll that through. And I'm actually going to roll it back again with the adhesive sheet on the back. It does make this a bit thicker. And so I do like to give it a few rolls just to make sure we cut all the way through. Okay, I'm also doing this on glimmer paper, which is also a thicker paper. So like I've really added the layers to this. All right. Now, before I pull this off, I just want to make sure. Okay, yeah, I can see it's cut through the back. Excellent. All right, so I've got that. I now have this piece with the adhesive. I'm saving this for another project. Well, realistically, I'm saving it for later today when I come back and make another one of these. Now, I don't know where my Take Your Pick tool is, so I'm going to use the tip of my scissors just to poke that through. There we go. And peel that out. Excellent. So now I have this gorgeous Mary to put onto my tag. Before I do that, though, I am going to do some stamping on here. And so I am going to grab those ornaments again. And let's see. Where was that extra set of ornaments I stamped? Oh, you guys, my desk is such a disaster. Oh, there they are. Excellent. So I'm actually going to clean this up and I'm going to stamp my ornaments in green on this tag. And then I'm going to cut out one more blue and one more pink to glue onto this. So I said I was stamping in green. So let's get the green ink. Okay. So, oh, sorry. There we go. All right. So go up there, stamp that in green. I've got my Mary, and now I am actually going to grab, where is it? There it is. I'm going to grab those little retro stars, and I am going to stamp those in blue around this. All right. Oh, beautiful. All right, so I'm going to grab my balmy blue, and I'm going to stamp these right there, and right there, and do I want to nail on the bottom? No, I don't think so, but I am going to stamp a few more just right up there near the top. All right, so I've just kind of done like a little topper of blue. Oh, sorry, I'm almost off my screen again. So a little topper of blue, my ornaments, and then I've got my Mary here. And so first things first, I'm going to grab my other ornaments and attach them onto here. So grab my snips, and I think I'm going to do this nice big one in blue. And so I'm leaving a little bit of a white border as I cut it out. And then I'll be able to glue that on. And then I'm going to do this one in my berry burst. Again, because I want my Mary, I want the ornament that's way down at the bottom that's going to be closest to that Mary to not be the berry burst. So there we go. Cut. All right. So I'm a little bit longer this morning than I usually am with these videos. Sorry about that. So I'm going to use just tiniest little glue dots here. If I can get any. There we go. Tiniest little glue dots. And then attach that over top of that ornament. And then same for my blue one. Tiniest little dots. And attach that over top. There we go. And then our final touch here is I'm going to take the adhesive backing off of my Mary. And as I pull that off, you'll see it's also pulling out those center pieces that were in the holes on the Y, or the E and the R and the Y. And then I'm actually going to put this on a slight little angle. There we go. Mary, just like that. Now, if you wanted to, you could come in and attach like some gems to this. And then I am, of course, going to put a little ribbon across the top. And so for this one, I am going to have to use my iridescent trim. So this is one of my favorite ribbons. It is currently unavailable. Sorry. When it comes back in, it is good for all seasons, not just Christmas time. So I'm just going to tuck this through. Actually, you know what? I'm going to tuck both ends through and do the little loop thing. So I'm going to tuck them through from the back. And then pull them through the loop. And now that's firmly attached. And then I can tie these ends onto something, or just trim them up and attach this some other way. I can also stamp my to and from on the back of this. And let's see, in terms of decorating this with gems, I think I am going to pop in and keep going with the berry burst because I have a lot of them. This is the adhesive back sequence trio, and we have the berry burst gems in here, or sequins rather. So I'm just going to use those on here to fill in kind of like those little gaps that I've got. So one down there, and grab another little baby one. Oh, where'd it go? There we go. Awesome. And so just a few little gems on there to jazz that up. And that is our little tag created to go with this. So now as I'm looking at these, I could probably go and throw a few little gems onto my cards as well. And that would work out beautifully. All right, so that is my alternative for the Paper Pumpkin stamp set. The number for the add-on dies, Darlene, is 165639. They're called Merry Tags and More dies. You just add them into a regular order. You don't do them through the Paper Pumpkin website or anything like that. So it will just ask you to verify that you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber by giving them your email address that you've used to sign up for your Paper Pumpkins. All right, so that's all you have to do to get those added onto your next order. And like I said, these coordinate with last month's Paper Pumpkin, this month's Paper Pumpkin, and the December Paper Pumpkin. The fern piece is meant to complement those cards that are coming in December. So it's a lovely, lovely addition. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed these. I'm actually happier with these cards than I am with most of my Paper Pumpkin ones, because most of my Paper Pumpkin ones require pieces from the Paper Pumpkin kit, which of course you don't have later on after you've made your alternatives and everything. And so I love that this just uses the stamp set. The stamp set in this one was so versatile. And I'm so excited to create more tags and more cards with this one. Oh, you're very welcome, Darlene. And if you have like some red glimmer paper and stuff as well, you could completely recreate these using the Poppy Parade ink that came in the Paper Pumpkin as well. I love Berry Burst and I love the alternative colors. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Next week, I will be live, and it will be my one layout 3 cards week. So I always choose a layout from page 22 of our annual catalog. It's filled with great ideas. So I grab one of those layouts, and then I use 3 different stamp sets to create 3 completely different cards for you guys using the one layout, just so you can see how layouts, card layouts can be so useful for designing. Or if you see a card that you love, how to kind of visualize the sketch behind it and recreate it with what you have on hand. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you all next week. Don't forget that I do have Stampin' Bingo coming up in December. The deadline to register for that is December 1st. You can find that on my Stampin' Up page, leahdixon.stampinup.net, and go to the calendar. I have all of my upcoming events there, and so the Stampin' Bingo's there. It is online, so you can join from anywhere in Canada, and it should be a great time. We're going to be using the Charming Pond bundle. So if you already have that, you definitely want to sign up. And if you don't have it, I also have a little special, an ordering special for it when you register for my bingo. All right. Bye, everyone.